Hello everyone, Benji-Sales here, and thank you for joining me for another video. Today we're going to be talking about May NPD results, which means we have a bunch of new data to dig through in terms of video game sales for the US market. Now, this was a very slow month. In fact, it was one of the slowest months of this entire generation, so not a ton to talk about, but there is still a few things worth breaking out and discussing, so probably a pretty short recap video here all in all. One other thing before we dive into the results, I haven't been uploading a ton of content to the YouTube channel lately, I know, and that's because I'm actually at a bit of a crossroads. I'm still trying to decide exactly what the future of this channel is. I am going to keep making videos. I'm not saying I'm stopping, that the channel's closing. I do really enjoy making the videos. I just, I'm not sure how much value other people are finding in the videos, if people are enjoying the content, if they're not. I haven't decided if this is just going to go to strictly sales, and then I'll just do a sales video, once every couple weeks, or if something really interesting happens, or if, it's just going to be general content, just whenever I feel like uploading, something I'm interested in or something worth discussing, something I think really impacts the industry. I'm still trying to decide all that. To be honest, as funny as it sounds, like the reaction videos and stuff that I do get more views than any of the sales stuff I do. So to be honest, a lot of my sales stuff, some of the lower viewed content, whereas stuff like E3 predictions and things like that just get more views. So it's interesting. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. Let me know in the comments if you want me to keep making videos even, or and whatever. Anyways, I do appreciate the support so much. So again, I'm not saying the channel's closing, but yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way off the top. And let's dive into some sales results, right? Because that's why we're here. Let's talk about May NPD. So first, let's talk about hardware. And, May was really the same story that all of 2019 has been. And what I mean by that is it was Switch in first place and up hugely, double-digit percentages, whereas PS4 and Xbox One both were down by double-digit percentages. So again, this is a trend that we're seeing, that the Switch is just, getting stronger and stronger compared to last year, and Xbox and PS4 just continue to significantly slow down as they reach the end of their life cycles. Just a couple thoughts on this in general, because as I mentioned earlier, it was one of the slowest months of this entire generation. It's going to be very interesting to watch throughout the rest of this summer. I think, once we hit September and stuff, I don't think the declines might not be quite as bad for PS4 and Xbox later in the year, just because there is, some really good games coming out later on, and also some price drops. They gotta be coming, I would think. PlayStation's long overdue for one. Sony is prioritizing profit right now. That's kind of why you haven't seen that price come down. They're still selling a decent amount of units. It's not that the PS4 is dead. Xbox is struggling much more between the two in terms of unit sales, but PS4 is still really slowing, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure that Sony's going to be able to hit their forecast unless they do a price drop. So, some of that's got to be coming down the line, but these next few months are probably going to be pretty brutal, all in all. June does have the Days of Play sale, so that might help PS4 a little bit, but in general, those consoles are just really slowing down. Switch, on the other hand, it's crazy that this console is this high up for the front half of this year, considering that the new release slate has been very light in terms of the big marquee first-party titles. Switch has really been running off of, ports and a lot of indie games, and then a few other, things in there as well. But really, it hasn't been a strong software lineup by any means. When your biggest releases are a Yoshi game and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe in the first 5 months of the year, that's not the strongest release slate. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because, just think about what the back half of this year is going to be like, right? If Switch is going to be up by double-digit percentages while it is this dead, once we start hitting Super Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem and Astral Chain, which I know is a smaller game, but still it's another really cool release, and Pokemon Sword and Shield, I mean, back half of this year, 2019, some people might not like to hear it, but it is flat out the story of the Switch in terms of hardware sales. Like, there is no other debate. Switch very well may go on a 12-month stretch. It may win every single win. I don't like that word, but you know what I mean. It may be the best-selling platform every single month of 2019. That's entirely possible, which, in large part is because Switch is newer hardware and PS4 and Xbox One are the very end of their life cycle. So, yeah, that's really my thoughts on hardware. There's not a ton else there to talk about other than just a very slow month all in all. Next up, let's talk about software, and of course, this is honestly the more interesting thing this month. Again, though, it's not a very exciting month, but there is some pretty cool things to discuss. First of all, let's talk about the top-selling game of the month, and that was Mortal Kombat 11, which honestly is just on an absolute tear right now. So it was the best-selling game 2 months in a row, right? It topped the charts in April, topped the charts in May, and is now also the best-selling game of 2019 so far. So it has passed Kingdom Hearts 3, which held that crown for 4 months, which honestly, that's crazy impressive. So I would have not predicted that before, this year started, that Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first 4 months of the year would be the best-selling game of the year. Never would have predicted that with stuff like The Division 2 and, Resident Evil 2 Remake and all these other big launches that have come out. Kingdom Hearts has always been a big franchise, but Kingdom Hearts 3 did very, 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 very well. So, props to Kingdom Hearts for lasting as long as it did, but Mortal Kombat swoops in and just destroys. So, Mortal Kombat will probably remain your best-selling game of 2019 for the next few months, right? It'll take a little bit before something can pass that. Super Mario Maker 2 is going to be really big, but it's going to, not be as big as Mortal Kombat, at least definitely out of the gate. Long term, maybe it is going to be a bigger seller long term with legs, but I mean, it'll take a few months before it has any shot of passing Mortal Kombat. And, there's nothing in July or August that's going to touch it either. So expect Mortal Kombat to remain the best-selling game, for the next few months. Now, for number 2, we have Days Gone, and, that is an awesome hold for it. It was number 2 in its debut month in April as well, so your top 2 are actually the same games as in April. That kind of shows you how slow this month was in general. But, the good news for Days Gone is that with its April, just its April launch, it was not in the 2019 top 10. It now enters the chart at number 8 for the year. So it has passed up MLB The Show 19, which is a big seller. So that kind of shows you how well Days Gone's doing for an exclusive new IP. And it passed up the lifetime sales of Sekiro, which also did very well. It wasn't a massive, megaton seller, but Sekiro did very well for itself. So the fact that Days Gone after 2 months, is above those games, very, very good for Bend. Really happy for the team. It's putting up a strong performance. The other, shocking thing here is maybe not so shocking after some of the PR that came out, but is that at number 3 is Total War 3 Kingdoms, right? Pretty crazy to see a PC exclusive game, that high up on the chart. You don't see that often, right? It's usually the multi-platform games that are really high like that, or a console exclusive, that gets a really big marketing push. So to see a PC exclusive game coming in at number 3, that's really awesome. That shows you, how massive of a success that game has been. Number 4 is Rage 2, which is a new release as well. And, it is nice to see that game come into the top 5. Can't be super high unit results, right? To be beneath, games like Days Gone and Total War, and it's on 3 platforms, right? It has, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, though actually now that I think about it, I don't think PC sales are counted. But anyways, in general, for Rage 2, it seems to be a somewhat soft launch, but I am encouraged to see it in the top 5. I was a little bit worried there was a chance it wouldn't make that top 5, so I am glad to see it there. Hopefully it has some kind of legs and we see some kind of life out of it, there. In terms of the rest of the top 10, there's not a ton interesting. It's a lot of holds from older games, right? Grand Theft Auto 5's on there. Minecraft enters the charts again. It's been a little bit of a while since we've seen Minecraft place this high, just because NPD is a revenue-based chart and Minecraft's a very cheap game. So, and it's a very old game, so you don't see it super high up very often. So Minecraft pops in there, which is cool. Red Dead, Smash Brothers, it's all that kind of stuff. Team Sonic Racing enters the charts at 19. Not a great launch, and I'll go into this in my prediction, or when I grade my predictions in the next part of this video. That's a miss for me. Whew, that's a big miss for me. I had seen some data that was encouraging me on that launch, and yeah, coming in at number 19 in a month this slow, not a good result. All right, and for the final part of today's video, let's grade my predictions that I made for May NPD. I do this every month. I make the predictions, and then I go back and grade them when the results come out. So first, let's talk about hardware. Hardware, I'll just say it really quick. It's going to be an A+. I nailed it, both in terms of the placements of the consoles as well as, the general percentages that they would fall into. I was spot on the money on that. I felt very confident in those predictions, and I nailed them. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and give hardware an A+ for my predictions. Now, in terms of software, this was a mixed bag, and that does not shock me, because if you watched my predictions video, I kind of said I had very little confidence in my software predictions for the month, just because it was such a dead month that months like this can be kind of hard actually to predict. It's weird because in some ways crazy busy months are hard to predict because there's just so much happening, but in other ways a really dead month can be hard to predict just because nothing's really selling great. Things are just kind of slotting around, and old games are moving around. So anyways, for software, the things I did good on, right? I said that Mortal Kombat 11 would be the best-selling game of the month. Obviously nailed that. I said that Days Gone would likely be number 2, definitely top 5, but I said it could be top 2, or it could be number 2, which it was. So that was pretty much spot on. Rage, I said would definitely be top 10, I believed, and I said there was a chance it could slide into that like low top 5, like that number 4 or 5 position, which is right where it was. So all of that, very good. I nailed that stuff. So what did I get wrong? Well, there was a major one, and that was Team Sonic Racing. I had seen some evidence that game was having a decent launch, especially on the Switch, right? That was what I was really seeing that was making me think it was going to place top 10 for the month. But clearly the data that I saw was biased in that regard because, as I noted, it came in at only number 29. So that means, at number 19, not 29, number 19. So clearly not a strong launch, so I botched that one. I thought it would also be, in your top like 5 or 10 on Switch, which also did not happen. So yeah, that's a huge miss. That's my biggest prediction miss since I started making these videos. And then also I thought Division 2 would still say top 10. It barely missed it. It came in at number 12. But I thought that its legs would hold up enough for it in the slow time to still be in the top 10, which didn't happen. That's not a big miss, though, so whatever. I take a small hit for that. So overall software, I'm going to give myself a C+. I'm going to go down to a C because while I did get most of it right, the big ones, right, Mortal Kombat, Days Gone, Rage, your upper end of the chart, I botched Team Sonic Racing, so I can't give myself an A or a B. I'm going to give it a C+ on software. So overall, my combined, hardware and software results, I'm going to give myself, this isn't an exact science how you weigh them, so I'm going to give it like a B-. I think a solid B- this month, just because, that software wasn't a great result, despite how good hardware was. Alright everyone, thank you for watching today's video. Hope you found it interesting and hope that it helped you understand the video game sales market a little bit and what's going on in the US. As always, I am Benji-Sales. Follow me on Twitter at Benji-Sales if you don't already, and like and comment on this video and subscribe if you want to see me keep doing this kind of content. It always helps the channel out a bunch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.